Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 42, Euthyphro 6b to d. Socrates has portrayed himself as the one who doesn't know, and Euthyphro as the one who does know about the holy, because Socrates has set himself up as the student of Euthyphro in order to make Euthyphro talk about the holy. In doing so, Socrates has suggested that there is a clear-cut difference or distinction between Euthyphro and Socrates. Whether it really is about knowledge of the holy or not is something we will have to see, but that there is a clear-cut distinction seems to be fairly clear already. We should also remember that if the dialogue is a dramatization of aspects of the holy, the aspects should have a clear-cut difference. That is, if we treat Socrates and Euthyphro as deigmata of paradeigmata, of aspects of the idea of holiness, we should expect a difference between them, a clear-cut difference. They don't have to be opposites, but they have to be different. There's also an understanding in Greek philosophy that a division of something into its species is a complete division, or it should be a complete division. In other words, the two species that we have here should complete the holy in two aspects, according to some criterion. To take another example, animals could be divided into three groups according to place. Animals in the air, animals on land, and animals in water. It wouldn't do to have animals in the air and animals not in the air. That doesn't cover every general species according to this criterion of place. Therefore, we shouldn't expect that Euthyphro represents one aspect and Socrates is simply the not Euthyphro aspect. There must be two identifiable aspects. So let's see if the criterion is knowledge. Let's see if Euthyphro knows and Socrates doesn't know about the holy. Socrates ends his reaction to Euthyphro's tekmerion about the gods by asking, Alamoi e pepros filiu, suhos alethos hege tautahutos gegonenai? But tell me, by the god of friendship, do you really believe that these things happened in this way? This is only one of 3 times that Socrates uses prosphiliu by the god of friendship in all of the dialogues. So is there some significance to it here? Is Socrates hinting to Euthyphro that they are friends, that they are discussing this as friends and not as opponents? Euthyphro is a confrontational character, as we've already seen. He's good at rhetoric, he thinks he will win in a court case, and he has a low opinion of the many. The many think that he is mad, and he doesn't care. In some dialogues, Socrates emphasizes friendship in dialectic. Dialectic is to do with cooperating to find the truth, while rhetoric is designed to persuade, usually a group, whether what is being said is true or false. However, in this context, I think the best explanation is the most obvious. The god of friendship is Zeus. Euthyphro has just been saying how awful Zeus is. He overthrew his father and bound him and put him in Tartarus. Perhaps Euthyphro doesn't think that that's a bad thing to do to his father, but for most people that should sound a bit bad, and certainly not very friendly. The idea that Zeus is the god of friendship is because Zeus is the highest sanction to ensure that friends don't backstab each other. It's like Zeus Xenios, the god of Xenia. Zeus was in charge of all of the rituals of hospitality when citizens of various cities visited other cities where they had no rights. Someone would look after them as their host, and then it would be mutual whenever that host went to the other person's polis. They would be the guest there, and Zeus would maintain the hospitality. If anyone broke the rules of hospitality, they would be punished by Zeus. Zeus Philios flatly contradicts the behavior ascribed by Euthyphro to Zeus in this Tekmerion. And we may see this as a subtle hint to Euthyphro to reconsider the matter. Could Zeus really behave inhospitably as Euthyphro has described him? We should point out that we can ask the many the same question, since they know about the stories of the overthrows of the fathers of gods, and they are also aware of Zeus Philios, but that's for another episode. The other interesting part of Socrates' question is that he asks Euthyphro if he really believes that all of the mythological stories actually happened. Socrates has already made it clear that he doesn't think that these things happened. He doesn't think that the gods should be considered bad in any way. He said a few lines earlier that he finds such stories hard to take. So let's see if Euthyphro does believe these stories. Kai etige tuton thamas iotera, O Socrates, hahoi poloi uk isasin. And even more amazing than these, Socrates, which the many do not know. So Euthyphro does believe the stories about the gods overthrowing their fathers, and even more amazing stories than these. He believes everything in mythology. Socrates doesn't believe in these things. He doesn't think that they actually happened. So here we appear to have a clear-cut distinction between Euthyphro and Socrates. It isn't about knowledge, it's about belief in the reality behind the myth. Euthyphro had mentioned that there are some things that the many don't know about the holy, but Socrates ignores this. He concentrates on the idea that Euthyphro actually believes these things. Kai polemon arahege su enai to onti entois theois prosalelus, kai echphras gedenas, kai machas, kai alla toiauta pola, hoia legetai te hupoton poieton, kai hupoton agathon grapheon, tate alla hiera hemin katapepoikiltai, kai de kai tois megalois panathenaios, ho peplos mestoston toiuton poikilmaton anagetai esten acropolin, tauta alithe fomen enai, O Euthyphron. So do you believe that there really is a mutual war among the gods, and that there are terrible hostilities and battles and many other such things, such as are said by the poets and by the good artists? The other holy things are embroidered, and indeed in the great Panathenaea, the raiment, the garment, the peplos, full of such embroideries, is led up to the Acropolis. Are we to say that these things are true, Euthyphro? The peplos was an elegant dress worn by women, and this particular peplos was the one given to Athena in the Panathenaea, the most important celebration in the Athenian calendar every year. And one particular statue of Athena on the Acropolis would be dressed in this peplos, which was a long dress suitable for having lots of illustrations on it from mythology. Mythology was illustrated in Athens everywhere. It was on vases, on walls, there were statues everywhere. So why did Socrates single out the peplos, this dress which was given to Athena? Socrates had not reacted to Euthyphro saying that he knew things that the many didn't know about mythology, but he has calculated it so that Euthyphro may now react to something so normal that all Athenians know this. All the Athenians attend the Panathenaea, especially this procession leading the peplos up to the Acropolis. This is nothing. So we can expect that Euthyphro will react to this. So Socrates here is simply drawing Euthyphro out. And Euthyphro doesn't disappoint. Mei monon geo Socrates al hoper arti epon, kai alla soi ego polla, e an per bule periton theon diegesomai, hasu akuon, you oid hoti ek plagese. Not only, Socrates, that is, not only these are things we should say are true, but as I said before, and I can tell you other many things, if you wish, about divine things, which when you hear them, I know well that you will be astonished. So if it wasn't clear before, it should be by now, that Euthyphro represents complete belief in mythology, while Socrates, who also knows mythology, he's given here a few examples, doesn't believe in this mythology. That is the distinction between them. Belief in mythology, disbelief in mythology. Is this everything about the two aspects of hosion, the holy? As I've already pointed out, the negation of an aspect is not another aspect. So belief and disbelief are not really two aspects of one thing. It would be more accurate to say that one of the aspects involves belief in mythology, the other aspect might involve belief in something else, and that involves not believing in mythology. Plato has done what he can to make this point clear, so now Socrates decides to turn to another subject. Plato and Socrates are not the same person, therefore the motivation for Plato doing what he does has to be distinguished from the motivation of Socrates. We may understand, for example, that Socrates has satisfied himself that Euthyphro is a fanatic who believes everything in mythology, and now he will adapt accordingly. Ukan thaumadzoimi, ala tautamen moes althis epis choles diegese, nunide hoper artise eromen, peiros ephestron epen. Euthyphro has just said that Socrates would be astonished to hear some of the amazing things he knows about mythology. So Socrates says, I wouldn't be surprised, but you will narrate these things to me at leisure, at another opportunity. Now, however, try to tell me more clearly what I asked about just now.